looking at?
It looks like you've ended up a long way from home, Jadzia. What is it?
It's just, I hold my hands behind my back the same way you do.
It's a habit I picked up when I was a legislator. I was one of the first women to serve as a council member. When I started out, I talked with my hands a lot, lots of emphatic gesturing. I discovered some of my male colleagues were imitating me, so I started to do this.
I just thought it was an unconscious habit. I never realized why I did it.
It's the point of it, Chandara. To discover these things about yourself.
It's so strange. It's like you really are Leela.
Well, in a sense, I am. After all, what is a person but a sum of their memories?
Welcome, everybody, to Deep Space Pride, a gay Star Trek podcast. My name is Mike. I am one of your hosts, and with me is my co-host, Johnson. Johnson, how are you doing today?
I'm alive.
Yes, you are.
Yes. Well, for context, because it's been a while since we recorded last. I had COVID.
Yeah,
and I've recovered.
You have,
and I didn't die. So that's a plus.
All good things right there. Yes. Yeah, it's been 3 weeks since we recorded almost. And
yeah, a long time.
The last time we recorded was with Nancy on our 25th episode.
Forever ago.
It does, yeah. And you were diagnosed with COVID right after that.
Yeah. Did you have fun talking to Nancy?
Yeah, Nancy was great. She threw us some curveballs, which was, it was
something.
Which was good, and also,
it was like, it's fun having a third voice. Yeah. But, I think the problem, and I haven't told Nancy this, and she might listen to this. And
she will. Yeah. You're going to tell her right now.
Well, okay. So first of all, I was annoyed because she didn't watch the episodes we talked about. Because what our fans don't know, what our listeners don't know, is that there was a lot of heavy editing. It was like heavy breathing. It was actually heavy editing.
Yeah,
it was like I was having heavy breathing because I was annoyed.
Yes, you were. You did contain
but I
yourself.
contained myself well.
You did,
because Nancy is not the best at following directions. Because she is her own person and she does her own thing. And we were very explicit. It was very clear to me what we were supposed to watch when we did our Deanna episode, and we all talked about it. Then, lo and behold, come day of recording, she goes off and watches like a completely different episode that we like.
Yeah.
And then
so we had to edit that piece out.
We had to edit out, and I was very annoyed, but I didn't say so.
Well, I mean, if you're one of our Patreon subscribers, you got to hear the whole.
Yes, I'm sure like all our Patreon subscribers. I don't know who those people are.
I don't know either. So
so I was annoyed, but it was fine.
Yeah.
I got over it. I'm so over it. I'm over it.
We're still talking about it 3 weeks later.
But I'm fine.
This is how you know Johnson is feeling better, is that this is his normal animated self.
Yes, I'm fine. I think the other thing though, because Nancy is not as much of a fan, is that you can't dive too deep into I had to watch myself, because like you and I had moments where we were kind of starting to go off a little bit, and then I had to like I was kind of like quote unquote leading the episode, so I had to like pull us back, because I was like she's there. We can't like go too deep into like the mythology or like too deep into, oh, the editing of like, how they like shoot the ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like too much.
Yeah, we were geeking out a little bit. There was some good geeking out, but
yeah.
yes.
So I think that's the only thing, like having a guest that is, and I've heard this, and this happens with other podcasts too, when they have a guest that it may be like less of a
less of a fan. Yeah.
They need to like kind of dumb it down in some ways.
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
Like make it like they can't go too crazy into the nitty gritty because otherwise they're kind of like, the conversation will spiral. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes we definitely go off on like these like crazy like sidebars.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing too is that when you're not a crazy fan like us and kind of have the context of 800 hours of Star Trek to pull from,
crazy.
You start pulling in the outside world and start applying it to what you've seen, which is an interesting idea, but it, in retrospect, it's hard. I mean, we were talking before we hit record just on some of the mistakes that Star Trek has made, or the shortcomings, especially with certain characters over the years. And it's but someone who isn't a fan might pick up on that and say, why is it that why doesn't Hoshi Sato have more to do in Enterprise?
I know, poor Hoshi.
Yeah. So,
but you know what? She's aged well. She's fine. And I think she like married rich. I think she like married like some like producer, and she's like totally fine. I think she's not acting anymore.
Hashtag goals.
Yeah.
She married rich. There we go.
Yeah. I'm like, I wouldn't mind, like, have a 4-year stint on Enterprise and then marry well and just like, live out my days in
there
comfort.
Yeah. We've talked about, you and I have talked about how it would be nice to retire early, and
I wouldn't mind,
but that is not our reality.
No. Hey, whatever. You're with the doctor. You're okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not like complaining, but
yes, you're not like living in the gutter.
I'm correct. I am not living in the gutter. That is correct.
Yes.
But there's still hope for you. There could be, your lobster could be out there somewhere.
My lobster. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, it's good to have you back to your normal self.
Alive.
And yes, it was, I think when we were texting, the hardest part of all of this was you lost your sense of taste.
Yes, so that was a little bit hard. I mean, like, my taste is still not fully back, but I think when I was sick, so when you're sick and your appetite is not the best and you can't really taste or smell, it's like, it's everything tasted like cardboard, and I didn't even want to eat. I was like, I will get hungry, but then I would start chewing and like, this literally tastes like nothing. And it was just not.
Did you start to imagine what it should taste like?
What I did was I force fed myself. So I took like chicken breast and soup and corn, and and like veggies, and I just blended it all. And then I just drank the mixture.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Because it was like, because I tried just eating like just chicken, and it tasted nothing. And chicken, when it tastes like nothing, is not fun to eat. So, but I was like, I need to eat. I need to intake like basic
nutrients. Yeah,
exactly. So I literally did this for like 5 days.
Just blended
food, and then just drank it. And it was effective. It worked.
I mean, you're alive, so you survived on it.
Yeah.
There you go. But
it was kind of gross, though.
But at least you couldn't taste the grossness. You just knew that you were intaking.
Yeah, nutrients. But the texture was kind of just like it was like vomit.
Yeah. No, that's not pretty.
Yeah,
not pretty.
But here I am. I'm better now.
You're better now, and you're
coming back. But my appetite's back. So even though I can't like, I think taste as well as I can, I'm still like eating because I'm like hungry. So
what are you craving, or what haven't you had since you've been better that you miss?
I don't know. I've had everything. I mean, so the one thing I really craved, and this is towards the end of me being sick, was pho. Like
oh yeah.
I don't know why. I just like really craved like having like the this noodle soup,
the noodles, and the broth,
and like oxtail, and like
mm-hmm.
Different like meats and stuff like thin that you don't have to chew like a lot.
Yeah.
And then you put like it's like a light. It's not like super oily. Like Vietnamese food isn't super oily. It's just like this, but light and tasty, and it was really good. So even though like at that point my taste wasn't fully back, I just was really craving for some reason, and it was great. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's it for the cravings, was just pho.
Yeah, it was like I had like pho like 2 days in a row, and then the second day I had 2 servings of it. That was a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was.
You went overboard. Wow.
Yeah. So that was a lot of noodle soup.
That was a lot of noodle soup.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, good for you. I'm glad you're back to normal, and mostly, and we're back here to continue our Women's History Month focus. This time we're going to talk about,
and it's like the end of March. It's like the month is over.
It is.
What's April?
April is at least climate, like Earth Day and all of that.
That's right. Isn't there like an Asian History Month too?
I don't know. You should know this.
I don't know
this. Yeah. I mean, we have Pride Month coming up.
That's June.
That is June.
Right?
Yes, that's June. Yeah.
Yeah. April sustainability. Oh, boring.
Well, we do need an Earth to live on.
We should watch that TNG episode, the one where warp drive ruptures subspace.
Yeah.
It was like it was totally like environmental message, but that went nowhere.
Yep.
It was like
a warp speed limit,
like a warp 5 speed limit or something.
Yeah. I don't think that ever. I didn't think that did not make it past the Dominion War.
Force of nature. I was like, it was on the tip of my tongue.
Did not make it to the Dominion War though. They were zipping along at warp whatever they needed to.
They.
When you're at war, so the speed limit was just gone.
No, that didn't have much lasting impact.
No.
Because then I think they were like, oh, it's an interesting idea, but it's not realistic for us to just limit everything to warp 5. So.
Yeah. I mean, they made it to the 31st century, so almost to the 32nd century. So we're just a few 10 years shy, 11 years shy, right?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Well, Discovery is in the Federation lives in the 31st century.
I understand.
So, clearly subspace did not fall apart.
No. I think it's one of those things where they were just like, let's just ignore that episode. Yeah.
Message episode.
Yeah, as much as that doesn't have, much lasting impact.
Mm-hmm. There we go. But anyway, getting back to Deep Space Nine, we're celebrating Women's History Month, and we're picking our.
It's still March.
Technically, it's still March.
Yes, 5 more days.
We are talking about 2 of our favorite characters.
Yes.
They're incredible characters. We love Deep Space Nine. Watching these episodes has been so much fun. That I am really wanting to go back and do a whole Deep Space Nine rewatch, which you did last year.
I did it in like 3 months, so you can do it.
At the height of the pandemic, you were doing that, right?
Yeah, it was great. It was so good.
Yeah, definitely some great episodes, and we picked some really, really good ones to cover. So why don't we get started with that? And why don't you start off, and we'll talk about the character that you picked, and you can kind of give us the episodes that you chose, and we'll start from there.
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Answers.
Found any yet?
Nerys says, I don't care about the truth, that all I want is vengeance.
Are you worried that maybe he's right?
All I want is to see him punished.
Even if he is just a file clerk.
That's just it. I don't want him to be just a file clerk. I want him to be, I don't know, something worse.
You want him to be guilty.
As far as I'm concerned, if he was at Galatep, he is guilty. They're all guilty. His punishment will let Bajor feel some satisfaction.
It sounds like you're trying too hard to believe what you're saying. You already know if you punish him without reason, it won't mean anything. And you already know vengeance isn't enough.
Well, so the one thing I would say is for TNG, we kind of each picked like a major, a minor, like a
And a minor character, yeah. Right.
For Deep Space Nine, we decided just to pick like our two favorite characters because I think the TNG one was like it was a lot to cover.
Was a lot, yeah.
We were like, it's fine. So I mean, it's not like a huge secret. Like there aren't like that many like major characters since we're just going with major characters. I mean, you picked Jadzia because
I love Jadzia from moment one. I was kind of like, Bashir. I met her and instantly fell in love with her.
Are you saying you're Bashir?
I'm saying I acted like Bashir.
I see. You're like infatuated.
Yes. I was infatuated with her.
Yeah.
I
mean, I really like Jadzia. She's an amazing character. I think that obviously her story, especially with Dax Ambient, makes her a really awesome character.
Yeah.
But my favorite character on DS9 is definitely Kira. And I think maybe overall she might be my favorite character, not just like favorite female character, other than I think Cisco maybe. I think overall she is my favorite character on
Deep Space Nine. Yeah.
And I would love your kind of overall opinion, but I think for me, I just really liked her because she was just so different from what we usually have in terms of a Star Trek character, and her backstory is just so complicated. And on Emissary, when we first see her, they set her up as this like angry woman that's just like shouting and hitting things, and her setup was a little weird. Like, they just introduced her as a very angry woman, and it was a little, I think it was almost in some ways turn off-ish because we've been presented with these very demure, these very perfect women, right, in Star Trek, and then suddenly on Emissary you get this like really angry, hot-headed woman who was a terrorist. She was a freedom fighter / terrorist.
Well, she was modeled after Ensign Ro, right? Ro Laren.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, and actually the character was supposed to be her.
Yes.
So,
basically all the Bajorans are angry. All the Bajoran women are angry.
I mean, apparently they are.
Apparently.
Unless you're a Kai. But
wow, yes. Unless you're Kai Opaka. Kai Wynn had her own issues.
Yes,
I love Kai Wynn. Kai Wynn would have been my
favorite
secondary. Yeah, she's such a good foil too.
I mean, I really loved Kai Opaka, kind of that grandmotherly type of person. But the other, I think my minor character would have been maybe Lita.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Wait, I thought your secondary character would have been Kai Opaka.
Yeah, but thinking after we talked about it, like that she was on for such a short amount of time, like another, a character that kind of stood out and made a lot of, weaved into the story, into the framework of DS9 was, Lita really did. And
true. I mean, I think my other favorite character, like another secondary character I really would like, is Zial, because Zial, I think, was such a. I think she more served a purpose because she kind of served this weird bridge between Kira and Dukat. Lita was cool too. I mean, Lita, she was more like kind of just like fun and jovial.
But
less angry, less of an angry Bajoran.
Her relationship with Oh gosh, Rom. Thank you. I was gonna say Nog, but that was incorrect. Yeah, I think having a non-Starfleet, a woman, Bajoran woman. I mean, she was Bajoran, so I mean, it was a great kind of difference to see another kind of Bajoran.
Right.
But
One
yeah,
that's less like war scarred, I guess.
War scarred, yeah. But Kira is an amazing, I really liked Kira from the start as well. I mean, I think that's why I loved DS9 from the beginning. It was so different. The crew all had really great backstories that we get to see pretty much within Emissary, So there was just this complicated, it was complex right from the beginning. Yeah. And Kira, she was standing up to the government and just yelling at them, telling them that they're stupid. And I loved her arguments with the ministry, with the ministers. She was deeply faithful, deeply Bajoran, just a really strong character. And yes, she was flawed. I mean, all characters are flawed. All of us are flawed, but she was just so much. She was a lot. I think that she balanced out Sisko's kind of calm. He was kind of demure at the beginning. He was very like.
Was he? Kind of. I mean, he has moments.
Yeah, he had his moments, but he was very patient and like even he was very
he was more even keeled.
He was very much Picard like in that kind of sense. He wasn't in,
I mean, he had to be diplomatic because it was a very tenuous situation.
Yeah. I mean, and I think, everything that he had been through as well had kind of like he wasn't the greatest fan of Starfleet at that time at the beginning either. So I thought that it was just it was great to see a powerful first officer, really, someone who kind of stood out. And so I think the characters in the show are amazing and Kira is great. And the episodes that you chose are, excuse my French, but fucking awesome.
Yeah, they're very heavy though. They're very heavy episodes.
They are for sure. But I think just really great episodes, like definitely made me want to go back and watch. Because you picked these two episodes, but there are so many great episodes with Kira being Bajoran and being just being that freedom fighter that's forced to kind of become the first officer of Deep Space Nine and be respectful. And it's just there's so much good stuff. And also, and I think we've talked a little bit about this, I really always did love the spiritual aspect of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
It was something that no other show had ever done before. And, she is a really faithful person. She believes in the prophets. She believes Sisko was the emissary. Right. Not initially maybe, but certainly came to believe it.
Yeah, and I thought her faith was very interesting, especially when compared to Kai Wynn. And again, I know that you're not the biggest fan of Kai Wynn, but I really loved Kai Wynn because she was a great foil to Sisko. And whenever you'll notice that when one thing I notice, and you'll probably notice when you do your rewatch, is every time someone tells Ben Sisko Kai Wynn is on her way, he literally will put his head in his hands. Every single time, guaranteed. Like he's just like, he does not want to talk to this woman. But I
don't want to talk to this woman. I really can't stand this woman.
So funny. But Louise Fletcher did a great job with Kai Wynn. This is not gonna be about Kai Wynn, but I think that the thing that's very interesting is that about Kai Wynn and Kira, and one of the fundamental differences between them is their faith. And the thing about Kai Wynn is that, she at the end, decides to serve the power race or whatever. And one of her biggest things is that she feels that she's never seen the prophets. You know, the prophets had never spoken to her. They've never like, you know, guided her, or they never, you know, she never heard them, and she felt basically slighted by the gods that she was serving. And she was like, why am I serving these gods that won't even talk to me? And Kira, you know, and she hasn't really had, you know, at least we don't see there. She had some, but she hasn't had these like faith experiences like Cisco has, like direct conversations with the prophets. Like she's had like an orb experience or two, but she hasn't like gotten these like direct lines of contact from the prophets. But that doesn't matter to her. She doesn't need that for her faith. You know what I mean? Which I think is interesting.
Right.
Like she doesn't need the proof that the constant backing, the constant like proof that the prophets are there for her and speaking to her and guiding her. Her faith isn't dictated by that.
Right. Her faith is sort of like she's able to look at situations in the past and realize that her faith has gotten her through them, and that she believes that the prophets have guided her.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know it in the moment. Right. You know, so she's always able to look back. And so that's where her faith comes from, is like that ability to look back at your life and see how the prophets have guided her and supported her and helped her. And also maybe, you know, to some extent, the times where she felt that they hadn't, you know, so she, you know, she's had obviously a very rough life, defending Bajor from the Cardassians, and has suffered inconceivable. I mean, she's a war survivor,
right?
You know, torture, war, occupation, whatever you want to call it, all of those things she's survived. And so I think that her faith has come from looking back at things and seeing the prophets in action in her life, but not having that spiritual moment of like, I'm getting a download from this from the gods right now.
Right. Whereas Kai Wynn, I think the flaw in her character is that it's about her. It's about what is in it for her. And she's the one that she believes that she's the one that gets herself through things at the end of the day. Like she's the one that, it's not like the prophets guiding her. It's she's taking the credit, you know. I think at the end of the day, that is the flaw in her character and her faith, which is, I think, is so interesting. And one of the reasons why I really like Kai Wynn. But going back to Kira, because this is not going to be about Kai Wynn. I think the 2 episodes that I picked were Duet, which is a season 1 episode, and then Ties of Blood and Water, which is a season 5 episode. And Duet, so I don't know if I need to like talk about these, like, you know, I don't know if we need to do an episode breakdown. Duet, just the memory alpha summary. After a Cardassian man arrives on the station suffering from an illness that he could only have contracted at a Bajoran labor camp during the occupation, Major Kira leads an investigation to determine whether he is actually a notorious war criminal. So that's Duet, and it was a later season 1 episode 19. And then Ties of Blood and Water, season 5, episode 9. Oh, also episode 19. Kira as Kenny Gamor, who was introduced to us in a season 3 episode, I think.
Season 3, episode 5. Yeah, Second Skin.
To come to Deep Space Nine to provide information about the Cardassian government and the revitalizing dissident movement, while Gul Dukat arrives and demands his extradition. So I picked these 2 episodes because I think that they both really showcase, I think the one thing I love about Kira is how she evolves over 7 seasons. Like when we first introduced to her again in Emissary, she's just this angry woman. She hates the Cardassians for good reason. And she's angry at everyone. She's angry at everything. And because she's just gone through, like we're talking about, so much, right? And I think these 2 episodes just really showcase how she changes over time, particularly when it comes to how she thinks about the Cardassians. This
And surprisingly, the first season episode duet that you chose, you get to see that change.
Yeah, like happens
In the first
right
season,
there.
or over this episode, you get to see her completely change. So it's a great example. And then just really quickly at the beginning of Ties, Jadzia makes a comment that when she, how much Kira has changed over the 5 years, she thought that she's everyone's friend now, but 5 years ago she didn't think she'd have any friends whatsoever, something along that line. Like,
I don't remember. I didn't actually rewatch the episode.
Oh yeah, no,
we had
at
to
the
watch
very
it.
beginning.
I don't remember that. Oh, that's
yeah,
great.
at the very beginning, she explains to Worf about Kira and how nice she, how she's changed over 5 years. So it was actually kind of funny that both those episodes kind of show Kira's change, but also that it's recognized by everyone. I mean, how could it not be recognized by everyone? But
yeah,
yeah, so it's really quite a fascinating episode, duet, because you do get to see her develop.
So yeah, when it comes to duet, I definitely think that this was just such a good character showcase. First of all, because it was in many ways it was a bottle show, so it wasn't like they went anywhere, or there was like no big like scientific mystery that they had to solve, which is usually what we get on TNG. It was really all just about Kira and her experience with Maritza / Goldar Heel. And that there was a little bit of mystery there, but it wasn't again like a usual like mystery of the week. It was a character mystery. It was like, who is this guy? Like, is he a clerk? Is he a killer? Like, who is he? And with Kira, obviously, like, especially given what we know about her character and who she is in season 1, her immediate reaction, she just has a visceral reaction, right? She just goes in there guns blazing, and she's like, this guy needs to stand trial. And even if he was just a clerk, like, it doesn't matter, right? Like, because this is even before he eventually quote unquote revealed himself to be Goldar Heel. She was just like, he was there, he's guilty, right? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, the very fact that he was there makes him guilty.
She didn't want to dig any deeper. She just had the reaction, the face react, the first reaction, and that was it.
It was just like visceral, right? And it totally makes sense. Like, she it's like, if like, I think that the occupation is very much like the Nazis, right? And what happened in World War II. And it's like, if you meet someone who was in Germany and was a Nazi, it's like your immediate reaction is like, this person is guilty. Like, they stood by and let genocide happen, right? And to a certain extent, her reaction is totally expected, and it's not unreasonable. But I think the very what is amazing about this episode is that Maritza, like, it turns out that it is Maritza, and he wanted to be guilty because, I mean, spoiler for those of you that haven't seen this episode, basically this guy goes through this whole process where he wants to pretend that he was this Gaul that was overseeing this particular concentration camp. I don't know what else to call it. And he basically is pretending to be this Gaul because he feels this massive guilt that he didn't do anything, that he basically allowed genocide to happen, and that he was too cowardly to do anything about it. That he was like a clerk, he was a secretary, and he couldn't really do anything, and that was his position. But he basically decided that he needed to make a stand because A, like, to alleviate his guilt, but then B, to also, that this was the only way for the Cardassia to change, was for him to force the issue that Cardassia was guilty for their crimes on Bajor. And that, even though, what's so interesting is that, he began as Maritza, he ended as Maritza, but Kira's view of him completely changes because of his willingness to kind of sacrifice himself, to basically make a stand for what he thought was right, and to admit his guilt, his quote unquote guilt in his inaction. And so at the end of the day, there was no net change, right? Like he came in the same person, he left as the same person he came as, but Kira's opinion of him and also her judgment of him completely changes. And I just thought it was so amazing that she came to that realization herself, that she cannot, it is not fair for her to persecute this person, and that she can't judge him, basically.
And huge props to Cisco for letting her go on this journey. He could have easily, and Odo too, they presented information to her and let her
she was biased for sure.
Absolutely. For sure she was biased, but they gave her the information in order to make a more informed decision,
right,
and to grow. They gave her the opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
And she took it, which is the amazing part of it, because you don't think that she's going to. Everything she's done up until this point in the first season has been very clear that she hates Cardassians and they should pay.
Right.
And so this is a complete 180.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she looks to the future as she's walking with him out of security, and she says, we're going to need people like you. You are, you need to help us heal. You need to help us grow from this experience. And so you really get the sense that she has gone on this journey and become something more than what she was.
Yeah.
When she started. And it's incredible.
No, and her her acting in this episode, both of them were just really good. And it was kind of almost like a 2-person stage play, where
absolutely,
kind of, a lot of it is just them talking. It's very dialogue heavy, but it's just them kind of bouncing off each other.
It's very much a stage play. This is
Nana Visitor just did such an incredible job on this episode.
I agree. It was really her and Maritza, and then the surrounding cast, which was really just Cisco, Odo, and the other prisoner. Really, it kind of has this impact. Everything else is kind of revolved around that.
It was just one of those rare bottle episodes that just turned out to be amazing.
That would definitely be something where, if you've watched Emissary, or if you haven't watched Emissary and you wanted a taste of Deep Space Nine, go to Duet. See what, this really does give the tapestry of DS9, really.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a little late for services, Major.
I needed a quiet place to think. You got something to say to me, Constable? Say it.
I understand you've stopped visiting Gamor.
Well, he lied to me. I thought he was different, but he's just like the rest of them.
Is he? Really? I've seen his file too, Major. He was 19 when Kiesa was destroyed. He'd been in the military for less than a year and was only one of 400 soldiers at the monastery. There's no way of knowing if he even fired a shot.
Well, he shouldn't have been there at all.
This isn't about Gamor's war record. If it really mattered, you wouldn't have waited for Ducat to hand it to you. You would have looked it up yourself.
What are you trying to say? That I should go back down there?
No, I wasn't saying that at all. Are you?
And the other episode, Ties of Blood and Water. I picked this one. So this was again a sequel to Second Skin, but I just thought, and Second Skin was a great episode too, and we don't need to talk about it because we can just talk about DSN all day. But just to quickly summarize, in that episode, Kira wakes up on Cardassia as a Cardassian, and she's basically told that she's been an undercover Cardassian this whole time, and she is basically recovering from this undercover brainwashing that she had gone under, and she is now home at Cardassia.
And I had to go back and watch this episode like halfway
it was a crazy episode. Yeah,
it was. But so I was watching our homework. I was watching the episodes, unlike some people, and I did not know why she was calling Gamor father, or why he wanted her to call her at least by his first name to Kenny.
Right.
At the beginning. And so I got through
half the episode. Like, you need to go back to Second Skin.
Yeah,
if you don't remember Second Skin, you have to go back.
I mean, I had some remembrance of Second Skin, but this really, so I had to go back and watch Second Skin, and Second Skin is so layered, so amazing of an episode. We could talk about that all day.
Yeah. And that was also an episode where it is just a lot of just the two of them talking.
It is, what another really standout Kira episode. You could have picked that one.
I could have.
So and also, just as a recognition of this, most people say that season 6 is probably the Deep Space Nine's best season, but there are some, it's gold. There's gold everywhere in Deep Space Nine, and if you've never watched Deep Space Nine, go back and just go please. Watch it. You will not be disappointed. It is Star Trek at its finest. Yes, it is episodic. It is different than Deep Space, than The Next Generation. It's very different, but it is still Star Trek at its core.
It's episodic, but the thing is, like, you see these characters grow, and their decisions have lasting impact over time. Versus TNG, as much as we do love TNG, it's just so silly when every episode is almost like a reboot. And once in a while, if you're lucky, you have a follow-up to like one episode.
And it's kind of sad that Voyager didn't take more from Deep Space Nine, and that that Enterprise didn't either. Although Enterprise has some nice, like Shran is a really great character that kind of carries through for Enterprise. But
I was reading this, I think it was like an article where basically Rick Berman had PTSD from DS9 because it was so serialized that it was too much. I think it was like too hard on the ratings because back then everything was syndicated, and it was hard for people to follow along if they like miss an episode because it became so serialized. That for Voyager they were like, we can't make it. It needs to be more episodic. Going back to Kira specifically and Second Skin / Ties of Blood and Water. Yeah, so in Second Skin, she basically develops this relationship with Takeni Gamor. Gamor. And through their shared experience, the thing is, Takeni was kind of like a innocent bystander in Second Skin. Like, he's kind of almost like a victim of what happened in terms of the circumstances, where he thinks that he's Kira's father. And then in the end, they both discover that they were both tricked because the Cardassian government was trying to flush him out
as a
sympathizer to the movement,
as a dissident. So they sort of bonded over that, being a dissident in a regime that was
so they bonded over the fact of their shared experience, like honestly the shared trauma of what just happened, but then also the fact that Takeni was a dissident and was on the same page as Kira, basically, where he felt Cardassia needed change. And Kira respected him. Like, even out of this traumatic experience, Kira came to respect him for the love that he has for his daughter, but then also the fact that he's one of the Cardassians that really need to kind of be around to make Cardassia change. So they form this relationship, and we get this follow-up, like, what, 3 seasons later or something, like, in Ties of Blood and Water, where he visits Deep Space Nine, and she's looking forward to seeing him, like, and she's really excited because because of the relationship, but B, also that he's potentially,
She wants him to be the leader of
right,
this
of the
government
race of change in Cardassia.
Yeah.
But he comes and basically reveals that he's dying.
Yeah.
And the reason why I picked Ties of Blood and Water over Second Skin is because I think that Ties of Blood and Water is just such a complex episode. And again, it's all about the two of them. And again, it's like another one of these episodes where it's just like so focused on Kira and someone else. But, we dive into Kira's own trauma of losing her father during the occupation, her kind of, in some ways, like seeing her father, like, because like he was injured and he was suffering, and she couldn't bear to kind of like be there when he was dying. And it's that layered on with to Kenny dying and him kind of going through this end of life stage and him wanting her there. And then also, actually, those are 3 things. Sorry.
No, then the other piece is the learning about Kenny's past.
Oh, yes. So
that piece.
Oh yeah, So it's her father, her learning about Kenny, and that he's not perfect, right? That he has a past too.
Yeah.
Kenny dying. Oh, but then also my last point was kind of this like this end of life kind of care, where Kira is basically there for the 2 weeks where he's kind of dying, kind of taking care of him. And no, it's just so interesting because, like I think I'm pretty sure I shared this on this podcast, but like, my father passed away in December, and, like that wasn't like a very traumatic experience for me because he was so old. So it was kind of expected, but at the same time, even leading up to that, he was having more difficulty kind of just living, Right. And there were a lot of conversations that I was having with my mom about end of life care and things like that. And it's hard, like you see someone just deteriorate, and you need to find ways to take care of this person because they were not going anywhere and things can drag on. So there was just like so many, there's so many things going on in this episode.
It brought up a lot for me too, because you lost your dad, and Dennis, my partner, lost.
And that was also a very drawn out process.
That was a drawn, it was.
And you were there for that.
Yeah. So it was, it brought up a lot of, when I was watching that, I was really, it was visceral for me to just see, see Dennis in that position of Kira.
Yeah.
Taking care of his mom, and I'm not speaking out of turn when I say this, but his mom was far from perfect too. So there's a lot of negativity there. But yeah, so it was so that part where she finds out about his past, and everything changes for a while, was really, it really hit home. And that's true. I mean, you as someone who cared, and Dennis was able to forgive and let go of all of that. But, and I don't know about you, whether you were able to kind of let go of any of that, difficulties that you've shared on, on this podcast about your difficulties with your dad. But, to kind of let that go, and again, we see Kira developing, right? We see Kira changing how she's acting, realizing her mistake, and then going, and with the help of Odo again, just another really strong theme through all of Deep Space Nine is the relationship between Odo and Kira. and although it develops into a love relationship towards the end of the show, he really had, like, in these 3 episodes for sure, definitely the 2 that you picked, but and a little bit in Second Skin, but he has really helped her grow.
Yeah.
But also helped her grow by not forcing her to do anything.
Right. But I think in this case, he helped her realize that, I think that he definitely helps her to kind of realize that she needs to kind of see it through, and that she would just regret, she would just regret if she didn't. Because I think the parallel between what was happening with Kenny and her father is, she missed her father's death, right?
Right.
And that was a trauma that she didn't want to. She didn't want to be there when he passed away, because there was always so much going on, obviously. But then also she wanted to escape from that pain. Like, she wanted to escape from that experience. And to Kenny,
I also think she thought he would live. I thought, like, I got the feeling when I watched it that she left thinking, oh, he'll be fine. And
I
not
think that,
really.
that was more, for me, maybe this is my interpretation. I thought, and this is also my interpretation of what happened to Kenny, is that she didn't, and I would totally understand, she didn't want to be there, like, because he was, like, not doing well, and she didn't want to be there to see. I mean, I thought that she didn't want to be there to see that happen to him. In some ways, what happened with Kenny and him revealing his past is that it also gave Kira the perfect excuse to not want to be there. To not want to go through this pain of seeing him, like, someone that she sees as a father figure, like, die and go through that process of, the end of life process, and have to kind of sit through that and wait for death to come. It was an out for her. Obviously she was angry, but at the same time, I think she also kind of used it as an excuse to not have to be there anymore. And I think for a lot of people who are forced into this position of needing to take care of someone who is going through this end of life stage, they probably want an out. They probably don't want to be there. And I think that, and who knows, like, that's the way that I read the episode. But at the end of the day, Odo basically makes her realize that she needs to be there. She needs to kind of see it through. And it was just like, I don't know, like, all those different layers, I think, just makes this episode such a standout for me. And the end, when, like, he dies, like, and she buries him next to her father, like, it was just, like, so great, like, I don't
just really powerful. The end scene there, I'm really glad that, I think that's where they ended the episode too. The scene right before that is Gul Dukat wanting to take the body back and give them a presidential, whatever, not a presidential, but a huge honoring, and Cisco just loving telling him, I'm sorry, that's already all been taken care of. As a side on this episode, just that little dynamic between him and Dukat.
I know Dukat is also in a few of these episodes too. It's really fun. He's just like, he's inserting himself.
I mean, again, part of the tapestry of this episode is that you get to see Dukat change through 7 seasons as well. It's just another layer to all of this, is just the short interactions that Cisco has with Dukat, just cutting him off, like saying good, like not even saying goodbye, like, we'll see what happens, and then ending the transmission, like, totally pissing him off. It's just and a small detail that annoyed me is that when the so they come back from a commercial break, and this Jem'Hadar ship is approaching Deep Space Nine, and Cisco comes into ops, and the station is not on red alert yet.
Oh,
Like you have, and there's an Excelsior class starship hanging out just around, like not doing anything. Like, okay, like
oh, I didn't even notice that.
oh yeah. There's these little things that like, okay, we have a Jem'Hadar ship approaching. The Excelsior class ship is just going around Deep Space Nine, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, why aren't things happening this way? So just some little things that really annoyed me, but the interplay between Cisco and Dukat and meeting Wayun number 5 was
right, yes.
interesting dynamic as well. But
yeah,
all of that to say is that's essentially the B plot of this story. Really.
yeah, there's a little
neither one of these have a super strong B plot, which is very different.
It's pretty much focused on like
but it's very different from TNG, where you always had an A plot and a B plot, right?
Oh my god, yeah, because now I didn't mention it when we started recording, but yeah, like I've been watching like a lot of TNG lately, just going back and watching like select episodes. But yeah, sometimes you have like A plot, B plot, and even like a C plot. It's just like a lot. Like, but DS9, we get a lot more of these episodes are kind of like super focused on like one thing that's happening.
Yeah, with some little intercut scenes, but not even really enough to say that there's a B plot here. But and these episodes are kind of like that.
But anyway, like incredible episodes, incredible character. And there's even more. I mean, there's more. Like we like I mentioned Zial earlier, but that whole the whole thing that develops between Kira and Dukat and Zial, there's just like so much there too that we haven't even talked about.
Well, and maybe me dreaming, but Nana Visitor is a big fan of the gays, and
is she?
Yes.
Oh,
so there's she's great on Instagram. She does these 3-minute little like kind of life lessons from Mama and Nana, and it's just she's great. It's so maybe someday she'll.
Is it Nana or Nana?
I don't know. I honestly
I don't
can't think of it right now. It's been a long week.
Unusual name.
It is, yeah. I mean, so that's what I called my grandmother. My mom's mother, so it was Nana, but I'm pretty sure it's more pronounced. It's Nana.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. Now that I've said that,
sorry, Miss Visitor.
But she's a big fan of the gays, so maybe someday she'll come on Deep Space Pride and chat us up.
Cool.
We can tell her how much we love her. Yeah.
Oh my god, I would like totally gush.
Yeah, I would too. She's an incredible character. We see such a growth, and even in the documentary, you even see even more what you leave behind. The documentary, and when they do the season 8, she has a big part to play in.
She's like supposed to be like a Vedek or something.
She's a Vedek, so it's just the character is so amazing, so great,
great. Well, we can talk about Kira all day, but we can move on to Jadzia.
We need to talk.
All right. What is it you want to talk about?
I want my memories back.
I'm sorry. I realize this is difficult for you, but you'll get over it. Trust me, it's better this way.
For you, maybe. You're both living out a life you never could have had otherwise. But it's my life you're living. Those should be my memories.
Not anymore. Maybe they never should have been.
That's where you're wrong. I earned the right to be joined. I am the only person in our planet's history who was ever readmitted to the initiate program after being washed out.
The only reason you got back in was because I felt sorry for you.
Curzon was famous for rejecting initiates. Why feel sorry for me?
Now don't you use that tone of voice with me, little girl.
You can't intimidate me, Curzon. And I'm not a little girl anymore.
So kind of like I said at the top of the show, I am just like Bashir in Emissary, where I just fell in love with Jadzia right from
Googly
the
eyes.
yeah. Yeah,
Wait, but you also had a like similar to Tasha, you had a crush on Jadzia.
yeah,
Definitely.
I think I mean, for Tasha it was different, but for Jadzia, you get this very beautiful woman who just has eyes that make you think she's 300 years old, like she just has wisdom eyes. And I think you get to see that in Emissary when you see the transfer. You see
Mm-hmm.
her on the bed before, and when the symbiote is placed in her and they join,
Mm-hmm.
her look, just her whole features just change. And I think that's acting. I don't think that was digitally done or anything like that.
Oh yeah,
So
no, so yeah, it's her acting. Like she has
so
that
it's just,
calm.
yeah, she's just very, I don't know. I like the wise woman. I just also really like the Cisco Dax dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
the old man, being friends with someone, and being friends for two, that long, for two generations
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Dax's is really cool. But so Dax has always been a favorite of mine. And so I chose incorrectly first. It has
You
been a
did.
while since I've watched Deep Space Nine. So
I should have
I
said something,
you
but
should have said something,
yeah,
yes.
fine.
But so I watched Invasive Procedures, and thinking that, oh, having her symbiote stolen would be an interesting, you know, to see, but she ended up really not doing much. It was really about the guy trying, or whatever his name was, I can't even think of his name right now, but stealing the Dax symbiote,
Mm-hmm.
and that whole thing, the like between him and Cisco. So went back. We had already mentioned it before. I'd already chosen Facets. So then you brought up Rejoined, and
Yes.
that was a good fill-in. So that was a great
Okay.
episode. So, and it also goes really well with Facets. So Facets
Yeah.
is at the end of season 3. It's right before the season finale. And so the really quick and dirty description of the episode is Jadzia prepares for her Zantar, the Trill rite of closure.
I don't know how to
During,
pronounce it.
yeah, I can't remember. During the ritual, Jadzia will meet Dax's previous hosts, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you really get to see the breadth of history that is embodied in Jadzia Dax through these characters, and all of the people who agreed to be part of this did a really awesome job in playing a
Like playing all
separate
those
character.
characters.
Yeah,
I love
playing.
like Armin Sherman's performance. Like
Yes.
when Quark was who was the host
He
that he was
was
embodying?
Audred's.
Audra.
Yeah, he was Audred's. Yeah.
Great.
So Cisco joked and said at the beginning, does Quark realize that he agreed to be one of your female
Yeah, like a woman.
hosts? And so yeah, it was interesting. But then he pops out in the middle and says, "How much is this? How much longer is this
Yeah,
going to
that's
take?"
great.
Which is really really cool to see. One, to see that. I think we needed to see that from a story perspective, that they could break out of it easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, Kira did her first host. Leela, Nana Visitor did an awesome job in just totally changing the pitch of her voice and acting very differently,
and her body language too.
Yeah, and then Tobin was Chief O'Brien. Emily was Lita.
Mm-hmm.
And Emily, you and I were just talking about. Emily came up recently in Discovery in the novel Die Standing.
I totally forgot that you mentioned that.
Yeah, she played a big part in that. Yeah. So then it was Audred with Quark, and then Tarius with Julian.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get and from the beginning it's set up right to that Benjamin's going to do Duran.
Yeah.
the psychopathic killer, and that was a super creepy scene. Really,
Yeah, he he played Avery Brooks played him like really creepy. It was interesting, almost kind of like this
Silence
like
of the
weird
Lambs.
soft-spoken but creepy
Yeah,
kind of guy. Though when we see him later in season 7, I mentioned to you like in that Esri episode, obviously it's a different actor and he plays him completely different.
yeah.
But yeah, it was just like
It wasn't the same actor from Equilibrium.
no, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No, I think they
Yeah.
recast it. But yeah, no, I thought that's interesting. Like, all the different embodiments of the different hosts. That was cool.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know that the story turns out all right, but I was in the story and I was realizing, well, because obviously it's been a while since I've watched these episodes, and I was really kind of concerned that Joran was going to take over Benjamin for a little while and like do some, because I couldn't remember how the episode played out. So
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's more about Curzon's relationship with Jadzia.
Yeah, with Jadzia. Yeah. So, but Duran also brings out that creepy, like he brings out this insecurity in Dax, which you don't really,
right?
Because she still had, I think she gets a lot of her steadfastness and her gumption from Curzon, and Curzon was still in her at that point. So it was interesting to see her react to Joran, but I think he was just so creepy.
Yeah.
But he definitely tried to undermine her right from the get-go. But then, the bulk of the story really is about Curzon and Odo, which, Rene Auberjonois did a phenomenal job. It was great actually to see him play someone so
very
lively and different, and it was just really cool. But it's great to see. Well, so the reason why he could stay in Odo's body is because Odo and him sort of agreed to the transformation. And I'll bring this point up again when we talk about Rejoin, because I have a question about the whole idea of how much control does the symbiote have over the host.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's we see in season 7 of Esri, because Esri didn't have the right training.
Right. Yeah.
It was, the Dax symbiote was kind of thrust upon her. She was very, very confused. Like there were many episodes dedicated to her kind of figuring out her identity, because she was just like really thrown for a loop after she got the symbiote.
Yeah, I mean, it was just it was an emergency joining, really. So she had none of the preparations. Yeah, I just, when we get to Rejoin, I'll talk a little bit about like how I don't understand why Tarius got so much control. It just seemed like Tarius Dax kind of took over Jadzia Dax in that episode. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But for, to see the relationship between Curzon, because obviously we've heard Curzon's name constantly from Emissary onward.
Right. So this is the first time we really get to see Curzon like brought to life.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then we learn that, he kicked her out of the
training program.
The training, right? Yeah. And then, but then, he did let her come back, and she didn't understand why. So all of these things, I guess this whole episode really is about closure for Jadzia in this whole process of becoming the host for Dax. But it just gave a really great timeline, and you kind of see and Terry Farrell plays it out really well too. You get to see how all of her symbiotes are part of her character now, which I thought was really good.
I think that for me, I really like Dax, like Jadzia Dax as a character, but I also think it's interesting because the thing about her character is that we don't actually know that much about Jadzia, the woman, like herself before she became like Jadzia Dax. We know bits and
Right.
pieces, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that her character, it's more about her as Jadzia Dax than as Jadzia. So the layers to her character is about all these other personalities that live, you know, in their memories that live within her.
Right.
I thought that was interesting. You know, I think that's, but at the same time for me, I think that that's one of the things about Jadzia where I'm, in some ways, I find that less attractive because Kira, you know, who we just talked about, her complexity is her own, right? It's like
Yeah.
her
Right. Yeah.
experience, like her own experiences. It's not these like past lives, past memories that make her who she is.
Right.
And her layers are based upon her experiences versus Jadzia Dax, who, you know, the interesting thing about her character is that she has all these like past, you know, she has 300 years of life experience.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not really her own. It's like, you know, it's like she inherited it, right? So yeah, I like her. I definitely think that she's a compelling character, and she had, you know, you're right. Like she has this calm about her, and she's a scientist. I love scientists.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so I always like that. I always like that about her. But at the same time, I feel that she, in some ways, she almost lacks a complexity because it is about her, you know, her past hosts versus
Yeah.
who she is. I don't want to make it. I don't want to make it sound like, you know, like she's not interesting. It's not that. It's just,
No, and you know the funny thing is though, and you mentioned it earlier, they sort of explore what it's like, what maybe Jadzia was like in Esri, because Esri didn't get all the training, but I imagine that Esri before she became Esri Dax was probably very similar to Jadzia
yeah.
in a lot of ways, and so they did get to kind of explore that, but from a different angle, meaning she was untrained. But yeah, I just thought it was really, for me, I think looking at all of the Dax things, you know, Equilibrium, because I watched that because of Discovery.
Okay.
But you get to see how this, and then I read somewhere else that, you know, there was a picture of, maybe it was on Twitter today or whatever, but there was a picture of an early version of Dax, Terry Farrell as
her makeup.
Yeah, her makeup. Yeah,
her makeup was different. Yeah,
yeah,
different things.
Yeah, because they had done it from TNG, right? So
yeah, like Odon.
Odon, yeah,
yeah.
So
and it was very different. It was like very different Trill makeup.
Yeah, but I like what they did.
I think she had prosthetics, and then I think they were like,
it was like a ridge on the head, on the forehead, and But I think
they were like, we have this like beautiful woman. Let's just like make it simple or something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the spots I think really do define the race very nicely. Yeah, so. Yeah, so I mean, it's just that you get really. Oh, what I was saying was this idea of world building. They really did build in Deep Space Nine. They really did build out. They built out Bajor and and the Cardassians, but we also got to see some world building for Trill, and
Ferenginar.
And Ferenginar, yeah, exactly.
Ferenginar was like, there was a lot of actually.
Yeah, we could do a whole show on the Ferengi development. So that's what I enjoyed about this, is kind of seeing the history of all of this and seeing the layers of the things that Jadzia does, like the hands behind her back, which she,
that was interesting. Like
which she did from the first episode, that's not, so it's something that she got pulled in, so kudos to the writers, right, for pulling in all of those things about Jadzia Dax's character that they had done for 3 seasons and tying it in different pieces into each of the hosts. I thought that was really cool. Curzon obviously was the easiest, but I like the other pieces, the music and the mathematics equations, so the science piece of it. From Tobin. So yeah, I just and for Emily in the gymnastics was the
karate
Klingon,
or like
the Klingon
Cleon
martial arts. Yeah. So just a lot of cool little things I thought was really, really interesting. And then we get to go to so that's obviously the end of that episode, she confronts Curzon, reintegrates, and everything's fine. But it's just a really good, we do get to see Curzon come to life for the first time.
Yeah.
But
I
then
also thought it was interesting because Odo's kind of in the background, but that Odo kind of likes, because he agrees to it. Because he agrees we'll think Curzon kind of like the idea of kind of staying together, and I think Odo kind of liking that, even though it was a passive thing because we don't see Odo actually talk about it that much, but that Odo kind of likes himself with Curzon in him and having that, I think, that confidence and like that, just having that kind of more social personality that he lacks.
And also the ability to do whatever the hell he wants, which is how Odo would love to be in general.
Right. But Odo's so like stiff, so I thought that was very interesting too.
Yeah, I thought it was it was and the tricks, the transfer, you see the hair growing, like it really is, it's really quite fascinating. And then he changes his clothes in Quarks, and it's just that would be an interesting character, had they decided to continue that. I mean, obviously they wouldn't have, but it's definitely very interesting. And then we move on to Rejoined.
Why not do the work here with me?
With you? The two of us together, you know what that would mean.
I know exactly what that would mean. But I think it's worth the price.
That's funny. Basil just spent the last half hour trying to convince me that it wouldn't be worth it. He wants me to go back to Trill with him tomorrow. Try to forget about you.
Well, at least he's consistent.
Don't be too hard on him. He's only trying to look out for his big sister.
Everyone is trying to look out for us. Protect us from ourselves. But in the end, all that matters is how we feel and what we do about it. Because either way, we're the ones who have to live with the consequences.
That's the tricky part, though, isn't it? Living with the consequences. When you're not with me, when you're not around, it's like a part of me is missing. I want to be with you more than anything, but I don't think that I can do this. Dax, I am not like you. I don't have a little Curzon inside me telling me to be impulsive, to ignore the rules, to give up everything that I've worked for.
Can you really walk away from me? From us? After all this time we're together. Don't throw that away.
I don't want to! Maybe I need more time. Maybe if I go back to Trill for a while, I'll think it over. I can always come back later.
I wish I could believe you. But ultimately it comes down to this. If you feel about me the way I feel about you, you won't go on that transport tomorrow. And if you do leave, I think we both know you're never coming back again.
Not even, 6 episodes later, early in season 4,
do you want to give the summary of Rejoined?
Yeah, so Cisco summons Dax to his office with serious news. A group of Trill scientists led by Dr. Lenara Khan will use the Defiant to conduct experiments. And so we find out that Khan is a former symbiote that was married to Tarius Dax.
Yes.
So this really,
yeah, I picked this episode because I think that obviously it's an interesting exploration of Dax and her character, but then it's also the first same-sex female kiss on Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly.
And
There is
it's like,
that. Yeah.
I was like, oh, somewhat relevant. Obviously, it's definitely relevant.
Yeah. I mean, I think, yeah. So the big question for me in this episode really is, the understanding that I thought, although she feels that love, that it would be kind of like the idea of love and not the actual emotion of love. Like as a historical, like past relationship, I love that person, but not bringing that current. And it really seemed like the Dax symbiote was controlling Jadzia.
Well, I think the other thing, though, that Jadzia mentioned is that she and Lenara, I'm saying her name correctly, Lenara, right?
Yeah.
That they actually have more chemistry or more things in similar, like more similarities than Terias and I don't remember the previous con host had.
Right? Yeah.
So I think that there was also an element where they also had a certain level of chemistry with each other, but obviously that was amplified by
I mean, it was only possible because of their past lives, not because
like if their current hosts were like I would imagine that if their current hosts were like too different and like they didn't that they didn't get along for a reason, then we wouldn't have seen this happen. But the fact that they're both scientists and they both just seem to kind of get along in some ways made it possible.
Yeah, and thinking back, Terias dies in a shuttle accident. So, which he is piloting, I believe.
Yes.
And obviously his body didn't burn up or something because we have the Dax symbiote. So there's that piece of like not understanding what happened there. But obviously they were young, very much in love, kind of like, they're
it was Terias and then Duran, right?
Yeah,
so I think Duran wasn't that the whole thing? Wasn't that the whole thing where Duran got the Dax symbiote because like was it kind of an emergency or something? I don't remember.
I mean, probably, but I'd have to go back and rewatch the episode again to see how that.
I feel there was something there.
Yeah,
but I don't remember. We had to go back and watch Equilibrium or something.
Yeah, we'd have to go back and watch Equilibrium again, which I guess would be a good watch to do now that you've kind of jumped forward and seen all of the hosts and seen this Lenara con. You can kind of go back and see. So they are really building out a really fascinating Dax history, and it'll be really awesome if we got a Dax in the 31st century. That would be really cool.
I know that would be cool. I don't know what's gonna happen, but
I don't know either. But that would be really cool.
But yeah, I thought this episode was interesting because, obviously it's not about, two women loving each other. Like that's taboo. The taboo component is that
their previous hosts.
Because their previous hosts were married. And that part, like kind of I don't remember if there was a term for it, but
there was reintegrating or something like that.
Yeah,
integrating.
There was some sort of term, but basically like living that again, like in a new host.
Yeah,
taboo, and that's the part because Kira and Julian had this whole conversation at the beginning because Kira's like, I don't understand how if two people love each other, like why is it wrong? And then Julian had to do the whole exposition of like explaining why in Trill society is taboo and it's looked down on.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was some tie to the fact that this was sort of a LGBTQ kind of push in some ways, reassociation.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure. I mean, but then it's kind of like what happened with like William Shatner and
Nichelle Nichols.
I was like, oh my God, Nichelle Nichols, like where their characters were, they had a moment, but they weren't in control, so it was kind of like yes, but no.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like they want to like push the envelope, but at the same time, they kind of contextualize it in this like sci-fi way where it is pushing the envelope, but almost like not really, you know? So
Yeah.
I think this episode is similar in that way, where it's not about, you know, the taboo part is not about two women
It's
loving
about,
each other and kissing each other.
it's reassociation is
Yes,
what's
okay,
called,
yes.
reassociation. So yeah, right, yeah, it just seems like, yeah, it's, I mean, I get it. I guess I'm still struggling with the fact that I just, you know, they just saw each other once and suddenly there's this chemistry there, which can certainly happen. I'm not denying that. It just seemed a little forced, and I felt like it was almost, you know, looking back at it now, yeah, it was important to have that first female on female kiss in Star Trek. Sure, I understand that. But I think that it also really begs the question, like, how much, from my perspective, I would see that when you have a symbiote and you have all these memories, that they're memories, but they're not, you don't have the attached feelings. You know, it's, so that's what I struggle with, is like how much it seems like the symbiote had more control than Jadzia did. Like, it's sort of like where the symbiote kind of took control versus,
Well, I kind of interpreted it as like the feelings were just so strong that it was hard to ignore, you know, like I didn't see it necessarily as her losing control, but the fact that Nerys died so tragically and that their relationship was not resolved in some ways.
Okay, that makes,
you know,
that makes
that I think that,
yeah,
I think that even if it's just memories, I think that, I mean, because Jadzia did kind of articulate how Nerys was very regretful, like, you know, was very regretful that he didn't listen to her, right?
Right, yeah, exactly.
And it seemed like there was, even if it's memories, but I guess the feelings are so strong that, like, you know, I at some point it's like hard to separate, where it was because their relationship was left on a cliffhanger in some ways. And
yeah,
right.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You know, yeah, you know, definitely. And it's very clear, I mean, that the two have chemistry. I mean, it's just, you even when the brother and the head scientists are talking, and you see Lenara and Dax in the background, you can see the chemistry across the room.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, it, you know, it just, I think Terry Farrell played it really well, and you know, the kiss was a great kiss. I mean, it was, you know, cautious and yet passionate and filled with everything that, like, all of the emotions. So I think that they did a really wonderful job with it. So yeah, I mean, just, you know, more, I again, more world building, right? You know, and I think this is a great addition. Like, we had, and what's nice is that we also got to bring back Trill in Discovery. So, you know, I think that that's, you know, and looking back at these and actually picking Dax, it brings even more, like, that Star Trek legacy, that that history, like all of these episodes that they did to create this world of Trill, they brought to Discovery too. And that respect for that, I think, is really great. So yeah, it would be really cool to see Dax in the 31st century. That would be pretty awesome in whatever way.
I think that would be cool. Yeah. But at the same time, I wonder if they would be hesitant because they don't want to, like,
have two
upend Adira.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
It might be just too much of a distraction or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Although it could be someone who, the Dax symbiote could be in someone who could help Adira.
Yeah, maybe.
You know,
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a fan. I would be in favor of it. But anyway, that's a, you know, some of the, I mean, just, I think my overall takeaway for why I love Dax is, one, you know, Terry Farrell really played her well. And I was actually same kind of shock that she was killed at the end of season 6.
Yeah, but
That-
there was so much like backstage drama about that.
Yeah, which would have been much more broadcast in the times now than they would have.
Oh my God.
Than they were back then. But you know, back then we had news feeds and things like that.
RSS feeds.
Our before even, you know, that, like, they were actually, you know, so yeah, it's kind of, it would have been great to see what Jadzia became in season 7, but we did get more Dax in season 7 with Ezri. So love Dax. Hope to see her again, or see the Dax again, not her. But
Yes.
yeah. So anyway, that's our Women of Trek
For Deep Space Nine.
for Deep Space Nine, right?
There are more. There are more women.
There are. We're gonna move on to Voyager next episode. So.
Yeah, it's your favorite. Your favorite series.
I
I really enjoy my Voyager rewatch. I felt like I found a new appreciation for it, actually.
I mean, yeah, I did. I definitely I am appreciating it a little bit more in Voyager. So, but I did pause it when we had new Trek out for 23 weeks, and then some other things came up on TV to watch. So I'm still paused in my Voyager rewatch, and now
I'm watching now. I know we're not doing off topic, but it's like I need more shows.
Oh, I mean, no, I told you need to be watching Babylon 5.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God,
you need to watch Babylon 5.
I watched like 2 episodes of I skipped the movie and I watched like 2 episodes.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, if you the production value, if you set aside the production values to some extent and just immerse yourself in the story, it's a world building. As you move through it, it's just world building.
Yeah, I need to go back to it.
Yeah, so that's why my Voyager rewatch.
Are you still doing your Babylon 5 rewatch?
Yeah, I'm slowly watching it. I've slowed down. I'm in the middle of season 2 right now.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, I haven't watched a lot of TV lately, so our off topic would be brief. I mean, you know, so.
I mean, we haven't done off topic in a while. We haven't even we've talked about like WandaVision a little bit, but we haven't
a little bit, yeah.
But
we're not going to talk about it this episode.
No,
we'll save it for another time. But we are going to head on down and see our favorite counselor, Deanna, in our segment we like to call
Hey, Deanna.
Dishing with Deanna.
Come in. Hi.
You got a minute?
Sure.
So Johnson, other than being on death's doorstep, what is going? Not really. That's an over dramatization. Although
we never over dramatize.
Although there were a lot of coffin and tombstone emojis going on in our group chat. But what else has been going on? How is work going? I mean, you managed to continue working.
Yes, I took no days off.
That is crazy.
But there were a couple of meetings where I probably shouldn't have been there, because it was like there were a couple client meetings where I literally like was falling asleep because I was so tired. I was like, it was very embarrassing. I could not keep my eyes open. That usually does not happen to me in meetings. But this time I was just so tired. So that was kind of dumb, but whatever. I actually did apologize. Like yesterday, I talked to one of the clients like that was on that meeting as a one-off, and I was like, I don't know if you noticed, but I was like falling asleep, and I apologized because I had COVID. And he was like, oh, I didn't even notice. So it was fine.
All right, well, that's good.
But no, work has been good. Things, I've been there for 3 months now, and things have gotten to a rhythm. But we did have one person give notice this week, and it was kind of tragic. She's like so smart. She's like one of those people that, it's just a blow to the company that she's leaving. And
is she leaving for a better opportunity, or
she's done with living the agency life? Like,
got it.
She's going like more like in-house somewhere. So it's like, so she's not working for an agency anymore. So that was sad, and it was hard to deliver the news to our clients because she's so great. But it is what it is. Life moves on. This happens all the time.
Yep.
But yeah, so that my whole week was basically kind of dealing with that and trying to figure out the best way to tell our clients and blah blah blah. So, but that was a major drama this week. But I would say that overall things have been good. Yeah, I mean, there's still things I'm figuring out, like process wise. But I think overall I'm enjoying it. I'm learning. I'm being challenged, which is what I wanted. So yeah, I'm having a good time.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it, and it's only, you haven't even gotten 90 days.
Yeah, it's like on the very cusp of
a
few whole months.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so other than that, so the past 3 weeks were about being sick, work. I haven't seen many people, obviously. So like quarantining. So
right.
Yeah, it was fine. Like, I didn't really feel like going like I was feeling stir crazy or anything. I felt okay, but I'm excited to like see people again.
Yeah,
So
sure.
yeah. But yeah, that's kind of it. I'm kind of bored with my fish tank.
Yes.
I mentioned that to you.
Yes, you did.
And it's like I'm like trying to like spend time looking at it because I'm like, okay, like it's too soon. I can't be so over already. So I'm like purposely putting aside time to like look at it. And then when I do look at it, I'm like, oh, this is great. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, I need like a new hobby or to what you're saying, I need a matchmaker.
Yeah,
I need to like go dating or something. I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna really help me.
I mean, it'll give you something to focus
something
on.
To do.
I still like the idea of a matchmaker for you. I still think that would be
to it. It's just like I've never tried it before, and it's an investment.
Right? Yeah.
I'm like, will to what end? Will result in like anything? Will it be, will it be?
Well, I mean, you're paying, so there is like their job.
No, I understand.
I understand.
I'm also kind of like, will it just be a waste of money? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's like my main thing. But at the same time, I'm like, oh my God, I'm almost 40, and I haven't had much experience when it comes to the dating scene.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I mean, things are starting to open up. You're all antibodied up now.
I am. It's true.
For 6 months. So
yeah. Well, I still want the vaccine. But yeah. I'm
of course
somewhat covered.
Yeah, you're in good shape for the. You can. Your place in line is not as important right now.
Right.
So, yeah. But yeah, I think matchmaking would be a great way to spend some time.
Spend time doing something.
Yeah, I mean, other than like what you've already done, which is like the swipe left, right.
Yeah.
And the conversations which start out with, them talking to you in Chinese and
oh my God.
And you saying,
yeah,
I need an English speaking.
Yeah, I don't understand you.
So. Yeah. So
yeah. Anyway.
Well, if anyone out there knows of a great gay matchmaker.
Well, there are a few. But I don't have enough. There aren't like
reviews. There's not enough data, right?
And also, there's not enough data.
We need data.
I don't know enough people that have done it to recommend a service.
Yeah,
I feel that would be helpful if like someone actually tried a service and was like, oh yeah, this was like, I got a lot of data on this. If someone can tell me that, I'm like, okay, I'll try it.
Yeah, I think maybe someone out there can. We'll keep talking about it and
we'll see.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's me. What's going on with you? How's life?
It's busy right now. It's Holy Week.
I
So
can't believe it's almost Easter.
yeah,
It's out of
Easter
control.
is next
I
Sunday.
can't.
Yeah, so
It's April.
things are very busy. With that work, and yeah, I've still got my side gig going, and
That's right.
And what else? Let's see. I'm back to running, so I've run three days this week, or actually,
look at
oh
you.
no, like this is today. So a little honesty with our listeners. This is the second half of the recording. So this is Saturday afternoon, and
we had to break up this recording.
Yeah, so I ran. So this would be four runs in a week. So
that's a lot.
Yeah, they're all 5Ks roughly, but they're getting today was better, and so I have so you're approaching 40. I'm in my late 40s.
Yes.
And so I have made, I've told Dennis this, but I haven't told anyone else. I want to run a marathon before I turn 50.
Ugh, why?
Because I need I like goals like that. Like I need something to like work towards.
Get a fish tank.
Yeah, no.
I'm just it's fun, and you start chasing.
No, I mean I like the corals. Yeah, no, that is not for me. But yeah, I
if you ever change your mind, let me know.
Okay, all right. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, anytime.
No, so yeah, so I have a good about 2.5 years to go on that. So have you
ever run a full marathon?
No, I've run a half. So it'd be my first marathon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So right before COVID,
it's a lot of training. It
is a lot of training. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why, I've given myself 2.5 years to do this. A year ago, right before lockdown happened, I ran my first half marathon with Dennis. We went to Florida and ran a half marathon, and we trained through last winter for that. Last winter was much warmer than this winter has been.
True.
So, and then once we got in lockdown, there was very little running, and we didn't get a treadmill until May. So, or late April, early May of last year. So, so just getting back into training again and running regularly and getting my body used to that again. And so, and obviously unlike you, and we've shared this before, I gained a few pounds I gained about 15 pounds in the lockdown. So
yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. So unlike your -1 or half a pound or whatever it was.
I need to weigh myself again. I might have lost like a couple of pounds because of COVID.
I would think you had, yes. Yeah. So it's getting myself back into shape physically to be able to do that. So but the funny thing is, so here, and I was looking at races because once I'm fully vaccinated, I feel more comfortable going out and running races in public. And so, but there aren't any 10Ks, and 10Ks for me, like right now, are the stretch goal. Like I can do a 5K pretty easily. It still hurts, or it didn't hurt today, thankfully, but still working out the kinks. But a 10K would be a goal, but there are no 10K races. The next 10K race that I've seen out there is August, and I'm like, there
are full marathons still right now?
Yeah, so there's 5Ks, and then there's half marathons and marathons. So as things sort of open up, and depending on the city and location of it, they are starting to schedule and do more races. So,
okay.
You do have kind of the option to do it virtually too. So there's that.
What?
Yeah.
So you run on your own, and
you run on your own, or yeah. So, but I'm also not in the mood. I'm not ready yet to be in the like last year, be in this big long line with hundreds of people
I know
around
that's
me.
the thing. I'm kind of like, oh, like
Yeah, so no, they have staggered
happening.
start times based upon your speed and things like that. So and it's also much more limited. So but I'm not ready to run a half marathon again. That I know. So that would be a fail if I tried to do that. So I'm starting to get trained, starting to train up for that again. But
Okay.
but my
Goals.
goal is goals.
Goals.
Yeah, so that's what's that we Dennis and I went away last weekend, got out of the city. We went
That's
to
right.
the North Fork of Long Island, did some wine tastings.
It sounds like it was very relaxing.
It was.
I still think you guys need to get like a new bed.
Yes.
Because every time you guys go on vacation, it's all about how great the bed is.
Yes.
And I'm
Yeah,
like,
we had a king bed, which is way too much, but yeah, we currently sleep on a, what is it, full size bed?
it's a full.
Yeah, and a queen would be nice.
I have a bigger bed than you guys.
You do.
And I like sleep like, unlike Dennis who sprawls, I like sleep like at the very edge. I take up like I take up like 6 inches.
Yeah. Yeah, Dennis sprawls and rolls over on top of me, and like
That's
ridiculous. So yeah, maybe a feature. Yes, a feature with a queen size bed would be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was really relaxing. We took some naps. We did wine tastings. We had a couple of great brunches. The dinners were they were okay. I think being in the city with so many options kind of ruins things for us when
it's more about the atmosphere when we get out of the city.
Yeah.
Than like
less about
I mean, even when we went to like Saratoga Springs and the Star Trek tour, the food was definitely like questionable. I mean, like it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah.
But it was like we were all I was very critical.
You were very critical.
I was very critical.
The rest of us were underwhelmed
about it.
You were you were very, very vocally
well, you know
critical.
what, bitch? That's what happens when you oversell. Because we were asking recommendations.
Yeah,
that's
gonna
say this is great. This is great. I'm gonna tell you if it's not. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. But that's fine. It's all right. Yeah, I think we just have a different experience down here in New York City versus other places.
Not entirely fair.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah. But I think you're right. When we leave the city and go other places, it's more about the atmosphere.
Oh yeah.
And where we are and what we're doing. So yeah. But we actually, and I'm not going to use any names, not that there's anyone listening from North Fork, but you never know. But we did. So on Sunday, we were going for brunch and we were walking around a little bit, just taking in the fresh air before we found a place. And I got a coffee from a local place, which was delicious, but it was, I was sipping it. So the problem with the whole mask thing, let's just take a sidebar. I believe very strongly in masks.
Yes.
But I am a walker around with my coffee in the city.
I know, I am too. It's kind of sad because I went out today and it's kind of sad because I went to Chinatown.
Yep.
Got bubble tea.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I don't know what's acceptable because I really want to drink this right now. But I need to remove my mask. So I just ended up, what I did was I just ended up standing like off the side of the sidewalk so that people wouldn't feel like I'm too close to them. And I just stood there and drank my bubble tea. Versus walking around and drinking. I felt very self-conscious. And I was like, oh, this sucks, it sucks that you even think about you can't just drink something and walk around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I still had a good portion, probably 3/4 of a coffee in my hand from a local place. And so we're going to another local place. So there are no these are all local places.
Yeah.
There's no Chili's or there's no Applebee's. These are all local restaurants. And we go into this other place for brunch, and I have my coffee, and then as she seats us, she says, "Can I take your coffee?" And I was like, she's like, we don't allow outside drinks.
Oh, well, that
And
happens at some restaurants.
Yeah, I was just taken aback by it. One, because it's like a small town, like it's not a, it's not a big place, and it's clearly from another vendor, and and I hadn't really finished it, and I was really surprised by that. And so I handed it to her, but it was like 3/4 full, and it was a nice cafe mocha, freshly made down the street, and I was just really, I was bothered by that.
That's annoying.
Yeah, and then Dennis.
I don't like it when restaurants do that.
No, I didn't like it at all, and so Dennis didn't like that, and then we were looking at the menu, and we were like, not that we were like, I think it put us both off, and we were like, as she went away, we were like looking at the menu, and we're like, do you want to eat here? And I was like, no, I don't, and so we got up and left. And then we went into a wine shop down the street, and Dennis was talking to the owner, and she was like, he was like, where's a good place to go for brunch? And she said the place that we just walked out. So we were like, okay, thanks. And then we like walked, and we went to the place that we went on Saturday, which was phenomenal. So so we went there, and they recognized us, like, oh, you're back again. And I was like, yep, we are. we got total. Well, we got, oh, by the way, they had this place, First and South. I will shout out that place. First and South in Greenport, New York.
Okay. Yeah, let me go there right now.
Yeah, go there. They have the best mac and cheese we have ever had.
Wow.
So good. Wow. So we got it on Saturday. We're blown away by it. We came back the next day. We ordered other dishes, but we were like, we need another mac and cheese.
Oh, wow.
And it was still phenomenal.
Wow.
So good. One of the best mac and cheeses ever. So if you're ever out in the North Fork of Long Island and you go to Greenport, New York, go to First and South. Highly recommend.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
So yeah.
Do you guys have any other vacation plans in the future?
So we're talking about going on a cross-country trip this summer.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh my god.
So that is
that happening?
Yeah, that's gonna happen. Yeah.
When?
July, probably.
Okay.
July, August. That time frame.
Is that gonna be like what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks or a little bit more if we can squeeze it.
Long trip.
Well, we're talking about different ways to do it, because we're talking about going to Napa. We're talking about maybe go. So when Dennis first brought it up, we were talking about going to Seattle. And then driving back and driving along the north. You're really close to the mic, by the way.
I understand. Continue your thought process.
So we talked about going that way, and then Dennis has been watching a lot of Discovery Plus food shows, and has now picked out all these places that we must go to, and so most of them are in the southern United States. So we're talking about flying to San Diego, but we still like the idea of going to Napa and then maybe driving down the Pacific Coast Highway. And so I don't know. So it's still in process as to where we'll go. But then we also talked about possibly, like, if there's so many places, we could drive to some and then take a plane or something else to kind of cover more ground and have more time in a place. So
yeah, because driving that whole way that just sucks out a lot of time.
Yeah. And one of the things too is it's going to be, part of the planning of this trip is working out. Like if we're driving, I do not want to, we need to figure out how we're going to work out for like 30 minutes to an hour every day.
Right.
Just to keep that up. So yeah, so that's our future plans. I don't know if we don't really have anything between now and then that trip, but I'm sure we'll figure out something.
You'll probably do another weekend somewhere.
Yeah. Getting out of the city for a weekend is kind of imperative. So yeah, so that's pretty much all that's going on with me right now.
Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
As you know, fan sets you do, but our listeners probably do or do not. I don't know.
They probably do.
But they should know that Fansets supports the Trek Geeks podcast network and is our premium sponsor. And I'm losing my voice.
I can't help you.
So Fansets is great, and they've given our listeners a 10% discount on anything if you go over to Fansets. I know that
have you bought more pins recently?
I have not.
Okay. Are you done?
I'm done for now. Yeah, for now.
Where's your pin board?
It's still in the other room. It's not in my
okay.
new office, so I don't really get to look at it very much.
Okay.
Until I get the shelving system built in here.
Right.
But they do have a great Jadzia pin. Have to shout that out. I'm trying to think if they have a. I did
I'm
not
sure
do
they must have a Kira pin.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a micro pin or.
Are you looking it up?
I am looking it up right now. I'm gonna type in Kira because there's only one Kira. Look at that. There's a Women of Trek Kira Nerys Series 1 glitter, so you can get that. There's also a micro crew pin of Kira, and then obviously there is a Dax pin, which I have, and there is also a micro crew pin for Jadzia. So go on over to Fansets, put a bunch of pins in there. If you are in the US and you put your card is more than 30, what?
I said, yes, buy the pins.
Buy the pins, yes.
Buy the pins.
But if you put more than $30, then you'll get free shipment in the US. And if you use our code DS Pride, you'll get 10%. All caps. You'll get 10% off your order. So go on over to Fansets. They're an amazing crew over there who run it, and we thank Fansets for supporting Deep Space Pride and the Trek Geeks podcast network.
Thanks, Fansets.
So
I should probably do one of these shout outs, but I just have such a lack of enthusiasm for pins. So
yes, it's not your thing.
I always let you do it.
If they had fish, you would
saltwater fish. That would be
saltwater fish, yes.
Yeah.
No, that's all right. But I do want to give one more shout out.
Oh, right.
So one of our fans, and I'll say, our only fan, no, but one of our fans, he's not our only fan. But a couple episodes ago, I mentioned talking to someone on Twitter about what to watch now that 23 weeks of brand new Star Trek was over. And so I got his name right. What?
Did he make the recommendation?
No, he said he asked. Or he shared. I think he shared. He shared he was watching 24. Remember, we talked about this a little bit.
Yes.
And I suggested once again Babylon 5, which I think is. Oh, and he started watching it and said it skipped, and that's where our whole conversation went. But he just tweeted at us yesterday and said he just listened to our Woman in Motion episode and was really fascinated by the documentary. So and then I guess in that episode is when I messed up his name. I think I called him Simon, but his real name is Samuel Slade.
Oh my god, that's completely different.
Sam Slade 80 on Twitter. Go follow him, give him a shout out. But I wanted to give him a shout out because I did mess up his name, and it's been great to talk to Sam on Twitter.
You're better at community engagement than I am. I just can't be bothered.
Well, so I mean a little bit, but I realized that I'm more into Instagram, and then we get emails in our Deep Space Pride at gmail.com account that tells us we do.
Oh, you mean notifications? Or people aren't?
Yeah, we get notifications.
Okay.
And at one point we had 109 notifications, and I was like, okay, I've not logged into my Twitter account in a while.
Okay.
So I logged in, and that's when I started talking with Sam and a bunch of other. We got shouted out.
Simon.
No, no. So we want to thank Sam for being a great listener. Sam Slade. And let's see. So you can follow us at Deep Space Pride on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes.
I think we both use Instagram more.
Yes.
So that's why
I do not. I'm not really. Like, I use Twitter for work, but
Oh,
I
okay.
can't. I can't.
I don't use Instagram or Twitter for work. That is the realm of someone else's job. Thankfully.
Well, I work in digital marketing, so I can't.
Yes, I know. Yes, I know. But every company has their social person. I am not it. But I am trying to check in with Twitter a little bit more. Although when I flip back and forth between Deep Space Pride and my account, I sometimes
confused.
I post some things on
What?
Deep Space Pride.
Oh, really?
Not anything that I mean. So if you see something on Twitter, it's from me. But anyway, we'd love to hear from you. If you have any great Jadzia or Kira moments that really mean a lot to you, or if you want to tell us about any other women of Trek and Deep Space Nine that mean a lot to you, please let us know. And that's it for that's all I have, right? That's it.
I think that's it. Yeah. And you already mentioned that next week we're going to be talking about Voyager.
We're gonna you're gonna lead that conversation because you just in your COVID time finished the rewatch.
I did. Yes.
So,
I did skip some of the holodeck, some holodeck episodes, like Captain.
No, you were doing
Captain Proton episode I skipped or something.
Oh, there's a big.
I skipped the Leonardo da Vinci episode.
Oh, okay.
Because I really fucking can't. Like Vic Fontaine on DS9. It's like all of those episodes. I'm just
you don't have the patience.
I can't be bothered.
Wow,
I really can't be bothered.
Well, you're gonna lead that conversation as we talk about two of the women of Star Trek Voyager.
Yes.
And
I think we know who we're going to talk about, but I don't want to. I don't want to lock ourselves in.
Right, exactly. So we'll talk about that next week. And until then, thanks for listening. Let us know what you think out there in the Twitterverse or in Instagram.
Or you can email us at deepspacepride@gmail.com if you want to send us an email.
Yeah.
But I don't expect you guys to.
Anyway.
Well,
thanks everybody for listening. Have a great week.
Bye, everyone.
Deep Space Pride is a production of Coconut Media Works. Executive producers Bill Smith and Dan Davidson. For more great Star Trek discussion, discover the other shows of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network at trekgeeks.com or find us in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.
Coconut.